Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tech Down Over, episode number, is it 30?
30, that's correct.
30. Can you believe that? 30 episodes. Where has life gone? Where has our lives gone? 30 episodes, and we've only been doing this since, what, December?
Yes, I think that's all right, yes.
We've done a lot of episodes. This is cool. So anyway, I'm joined here by Jeff Blanchard, our co-host, good friend in Australia. He's in Melbourne. I'm up here not too far from Hollywood. We're probably about 40 miles away from Hollywood. And this is Tech Down Over. We are back. Hey, Jeff, I noticed you had a lot of little interest this week in tech, and they all had to do either with gimbals or, what was the other thing? Watches.
Well, there was a few different things. Like, to start off, one of the little things that I didn't put on the list that intrigued me was I got ages ago with my slider was one of those little magic arms. Have you seen them?
Yes.
They're just fantastic. You know, just have a couple of screw points, but they manipulate into so many different points. So what I thought, always thinking tripods and that take up so much place. Like now the camera I'm using here. So what I've done, I've got one of those little magic arms, and I've attached that to the monitor arm.
Oh, interesting.
So now this camera is stuck onto the monitor arm, and it's so I haven't got all the tripod with the legs standing out, but it's such a stable thing. But it's so maneuverable, or even much more maneuverable than a tripod.
Now, out of curiosity, try this. Just shake your table a little bit.
Okay, I'm shaking it.
Boy, nothing. Barely.
Oh no, yeah, because I thought, because that's where the monitor's on. It's not doing too much.
No,
but as I said, you really have to shake it.
Yeah, there's almost no movement when you did that. That's pretty good. Now, which camera are you using?
I'm using the Canon XA10.
Okay, so it's a big enough camera.
So you would think you might get some sort of reaction through that, but I figure if I'm shaking that much, I'll be running out the building because there must be an earthquake or something like that. So, and I think it's only if I start laughing too much and leaning on the table that you get the vibration.
Yeah, no, that's pretty good. Yeah, we've got a lot of room in this particular room. So we have the tripod in front of us with an XA10. So we both have the same camera on, and it's a darn good camera.
It is, and I'm always amazed at just the quality you do get out of these. We've got our new range of 4K cameras, but I still go back to this thinking, gee, this is such a darn good camera.
It is, and it has a good lens. Canon does make good stuff. Are you still considering, I'm still considering one day getting that XC10 or waiting for a 20 or something. It's interesting. I don't know how much I like it, but it does look interesting.
It does, and it looks like it's doing a good job. I've seen a few reviews on it, but the only thing that puts me off on that, well, not so much puts me off, but you went from, say, the XA10 to the 25 because it had a bit more zoom
actually, what I really needed was the SDI.
The SDI on that. But going to the XA10, which is a dearer camera, but it's only got a 10 times zoom, and most of the people who's going to pay that sort of money, when you zoom, you will be putting it on a tripod. So then that is quite an advantage. It
is, and for the most part, when we do videos, we never ever use a zoom doing a video ever. All the zooms are done in post.
Yeah, and that's right. And the only time you do use a zoom, though, is when you have to. And so, but most of the times, if you're doing 4K, that makes it even better for doing the zoom in post because you've got the quality there to do it. Yeah. But I'm quite happy with the equipment I've got so I'm not lusting over that new Canon. I might be tempted eventually when, say, something like the 300 comes down into an affordable range.
Well, it is now much more affordable. Now it's about 3,000.
But is that the 4K version? That's the old version, is it? I
don't know if it's the 4K one.
Yeah, because I think that's why it came down, because they've got a new 4K version.
Oh, no, that wasn't the 300. That was the 100.
Oh, 100.
Sorry, that was the cheaper one.
Yes, but I think even the 300's dropped quite significantly because of the new 4K version. That's
Isn't it more about 6 now? 6 or 7? I don't think it's 12 anymore.
I'm not. No, it's quite a lot cheaper. It's below the 300. It's below the 10,000. I'm sure it was about 7,000 or something like that. But still expensive when you say it quickly. It doesn't sound much at all. But with the cameras I've got, it's still very hard to justify anything else because that the FZ1000, the quality on that and the zoom's excellent.
It's good. It's got almost a super zoom.
Yep, great, but the sound quality is atrocious.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I can't say anything else, but
why? Because you're sitting like this and you hear.
And that's it. The only thing I could relate it to is it's like if the old coffee percolators where you can hear them bubbling, and that's what it does sound like that. But then again, people like us who want the quality and that, we will have a. But
at least if you put an external mic on it, you don't really hear it as much.
And if we're bothered about it, we'll have an external lav mic recording the sound separately if you've got a subject speaking, and sometimes if there is noise going on, if it's a football match you're filming, you're not going to hear it because it will go away.
I just wish the camera manufacturers would come out with a good camera that's actually great. They always leave something that makes you go crazy. And in this case, I think in the FZ1000, it is, I said that the right way according to the Brits. I said FZ.
Yeah, that's FZ, that's right.
It's contagious, isn't it? But that camera really is a great, for $900, whatever it costs, that is a great camera. And the only real thing I would have changed, well, maybe two things. One of them would be the mic input, not the mic input, but the noise on that lens is just horrific. And the other thing is I wish they had a battery grip for it. Because the batteries don't last forever. They're on the shorter side. I just want one battery grip would have been nice. I have the battery grip on the GH4, and that's great, but they didn't do it on the. I mean, what does it cost? I mean, just little things.
But I suppose it's like the same thing. We're always going on about the Canon C100 and
it would be
and the 300, and that's why you've got the GH4 because it's the FZ1000 with the interchangeable lens, without the noise, with the better sound quality, with the better handle grip. But that's it's the FZ1000. Without all the problems that you want. That's one reason why you've got it. But and I can understand it. So I'm never rubbishing the Panasonic product. It's done there for a reason to get into a. And if you want to shut the noise off, you can do. But then it's very unstable.
Right. Unless you're on a tripod, and if you're on a tripod, you shouldn't be on OIS anyway.
No. And if you've done the stabilization, and it's well worth. I've done that. Took it into the city.
It's pretty amazing. Yeah.
And had my other XA10 on the tripod, and I was holding the other one. And through all the shots, you couldn't tell that I was holding the XZ1000. So
well, no, you did one where you were out in the marsh somewhere, and you zoomed in on this building in the distance. It wasn't that close, and there was no. I don't know if we were on tripod or not, but there was no shake.
That was handheld. That was the other Panasonic, the HXC.
Oh, that was okay, that was amazing. It was so clean.
But that one has a lesser zoom than the FZ1000, I think. So
it does.
Yeah,
it does.
It does. So, but it was just so clean, and that was, as I said, that was handheld. And the great thing with the HCX1000 is, and what I like is because it's a bigger, chunkier camera, which means you can hold it better. It's when you breathe, it's like with some of the smaller ones, all you have to do is breathe.
Now, I tell you, the day you want a really small one, that LX100 is pretty amazing.
I know.
I am impressed with it. It's expensive, but I'm impressed by the quality. It's interesting. And they're right. The reviews say you have to be careful because if you think you're going to get something in particular, you better make sure because it's almost totally manual. And sometimes it kind of fools you, but it just takes great shots. And the quality, they're not grainy. They just look good. Honestly, I've heard some people say it takes better pictures than the GH4, the Panasonic GH4. I would kind of agree. It's interesting. It doesn't have as many features, but it takes darn good pictures. Now, we have one product we're going to review today. Which one's this one? Okay, this is the DJI Ronin, I think.
Well, that's right, and that was what brought me
Bring
into
that one
it.
in.
I was talking about that the other week when that was one of the things that DJI featured at NAB this year, and they've got their other Ronin, which is about, I think, priced around about the $4,000 mark for the bigger cameras.
Wow.
And now they've released the DJI Ronin M, and when they released at NAB, they were very coy about the price, and they said it's going to be below $2,000. And you know what below $2,000 means? It's $19.99 and 95
Exactly.
cents. And so, and they wouldn't say anything more, but we see the release, and it's actually come out US dollars at $13.99.
Oh, really?
So no wonder they were tight-lipped about it. So that
$13.99.
yeah,
That's pretty good.
And they said it will do up to what's it, about a 6-pound camera, I think. But it said mainly aimed at like the GH4s and the
Okay.
FZ1, that type of camera.
Interesting.
But I thought that from 4,000 down, that makes that something that you might possibly get.
Well, the
for-
reason
for
the
sort
reason
of-
they do that is so that when it crashes, you don't feel like you've spent that much.
No, that's
It's
right.
only destroyed your camera, but at least the Ronin's only $1,300, so that's okay. You can buy another one.
But this one you don't crash. This one you just hold yourself. So
Oh, you hold it
it's got-
yourself?
This is the camera gimbal. It's not a flying machine.
Oh, okay.
It's one of those that you hold, and that's
It's a stabilizer.
stabilizer. But
Interesting.
It's just, and the thing is, that if you saw that picture that we just put up before, it has the handles, the sort of like the 2 hand grips on the side,
Yeah.
and then the one on the top. But those ones on the side, they click off in an instant. So you've just got your handheld one, so you can hang it out the car window and do that. But it's just fantastic sort of quality on that. And even that one still comes with a remote control unit.
Wow.
So I can be holding it out the window while you can be directing the camera where it's going. If you want to.
Interesting. That's pretty cool.
And even things like when it's doing a one-man shoot, you can just hook the Ronin onto a tree branch.
Yeah.
And then you can do the remote control from there. So you've got
That's
like
that's not that's not bad. It's like having, like you said, the gimbal plus. You also have the remote control. So now you have like a moving around tripod almost.
and you sort of like have like a slider type effect in a much more usable thing, because to me for $13.99 you can get a good slider for that, but it's going to be heavy and it's got a lot of setup to do.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And you can't move, whereas one of those you could walk along the road
Yeah.
and you've got that slider effect. Stick it on a branch or you can even do it on a stand, and then you can use the remote control to get slider type motion on that. But I think when it gets here, I might be getting tempted to do that, because that still is probably about $17.86 in Australian dollars. So that's way better than the $5,000 for the other one. But it might even fit the Panasonic. I'm not too sure. But I thought, well, it doesn't matter. I could put the FZ1000 or even the XA10 on it.
Right, they'll all fit.
Because there's nothing heavy on that, and it's still got the mounts on there where you can put a little monitor on it, so you can see through the top. And they do have a little extra that you can get. You can get a thumb control.
Oh, right.
So it has about 3 different settings on it. So you can put it to automatic follow, so you can set it to follow a particular point. So when you move, the camera will just follow that. You can have it set so when you go up, it slowly goes up and down. If you quickly turn around, it will slowly pan.
Interesting.
Or else you can have it fixed and with the thumb control, so you can control where it's pointing to if you're a single man operator. So you've got the remote control on that. But I thought they're doing.
DJI is really coming along with a lot of products, and they seem to have taken that industry fairly by storm. They're probably one of the leaders right now.
And it's just I just think it's fantastic. The sort of things like it's never been. All these things have been available for long enough, but like even the Movi, which was the first one, that's still there, but it's still $15,000. It's for movie people, not. And so if you're doing a films, $1 million films, well, what's 15,000? It's just a pocket change for you for that. But for somebody who wants to do some e-learning and that, it's half a year's profit sort of thing.
That's true. Yeah.
To get $15,000 on that, but something like this for $13.99, you could invest in that, and it will do more than enough. I did see with interest. I was looking at some NAB things, and how we like to look at some jibs. I saw a real nice jib I liked there. It was only $500,000.
Is one of those that goes up 10 stories, or?
It was like a crane.
Yeah.
It was so impressive to see it hooked up to a computer, and it had like 4-wheel disc brakes. Because it was fantastic. I thought, and then as I said in one of my comments before, I thought, but when they're doing $150 million film, what's $500,000 to get the shot? And then you've still got it for the next one, haven't you?
That's true. That's true. Except the storage fees are expensive.
Well, that's right. Would have to have
where do you put it?
Exactly for that. And while looking at that Ronin, I sort of came across there was one called a Film Power Nebula 4000.
Do we have that one? Yeah, show that one.
And so, and the thing that I liked with this one they had it showing for the GH4.
Yeah, that's a nice one. It doesn't look that big.
It's not. It's just you know how you've got that little handheld one for the iPhone.
Yes.
I think you've got. It's similar sort of style to that one, but it's aimed at the GH4, so about 2.6 pounds.
Okay.
It will do, and that's for $6.99.
Wow.
And they said it'll have 2 hours use, but then that's where you say $6.99, I'll double that. I'll get that Ronin. It'll do much more. But seeing the videos on that one, for having that stabilizer for that, it was just fantastic. And like I just went back to see. I went back to see some of the videos of the old Steadicam things, and it really makes that. They've got these Steadicams, but really you have to know what you're doing, and you really have. And like you've said before, if you do what they say to make it steady, well, you could probably do it without that equipment.
Right.
Whereas at least these type of things, it really does cut out a lot of you can be running, jumping, whatsoever. It'll do such a good job for that. So.
And then we have the ICANN Armor.
Yeah, that's what. So why I just came across the ICANN Armor was there was one thing I was not aware that ICANN. I just thought from you they just did lights. I didn't realize it did.
I didn't either. I think everybody's expanding into different arenas.
I looked at this, and this was a B&H video they did, and they're fantastic. B&H, they get in there and really get you to see what things are happening and that. And I just had to talk about this because they had that whole armor and they put the Ronin, the full size Ronin on it.
Wow.
But I just had to look at because I thought it looks like RoboCop.
It does. It does. I can imagine if you're by yourself walking around town, they're going to stop you.
Yeah, that's right. And I thought but even that at $21.99, I thought if you need it, it's not bad value. But I thought you'd need a crew of 3 to slot you in it. I think you'd have to have have you seen like Alien? You'd have to have a gantry like Sigourney Weaver gets into, gets into the machine, and then it locks in. You need something like that to get you into it. But I wasn't aware that they ICANN did all those things.
No, it's just amazing. A lot of the manufacturers are really venturing forth into related industries, but I guess now I don't know if they created it originally, they bought it from someone. Because there's a lot of acquisitions going on out there. You look and, for example, the OSP is no longer OSP, it's now Elite Corp.
Oh,
it's Elite Corp HS09, so I guess they got acquired.
Oh, well,
or change their name, I'm not sure.
Yes, but it said there's still so many things that go around, and it said like that black magic. You just don't realize what they do. You think, well, and then they never had cameras a while back, did they?
No.
But now they do. Now all they need to do is get the cameras to look like a camera, I think. And but they've got their new big one that really does, but it looks quite big. But they do a good quality. Those.
And I saw AJA just came out with one called the Scion.
Oh,
and it was reviewed also by Mia McCormick on at B&H. It looks extremely expensive. It looked ugly. It looked very boxy. I don't know. You have to buy everything separate. You have to buy your viewfinder separate, your LED monitor separate, everything separate. So I think by the time you're done, it's going to cost a fortune. But I think it's more for video production or movie making rather than your standard kind of run and shoot kind of operations.
And that's what people say about the other Black Magics. They said, well, what's the point? You just plug that in, and by the time you've got everything on it, it is a huge thing that you've got on this rig. It doesn't care so you don't care what it looks like, because it's not going to even look a bit like it with all the different focus rings, all the monitors and all the different things that they do for the proper production ones on there. So they said there's all these things a lot of these things at NAB are just not aimed at us mere mortals. I was listening to Larry's thing, and what he gets a big thrill of doing is going at NAB is looking at the helicopter section.
Oh yeah.
and he said the wife said, that's fine, but where are you going to park it?
And he was thinking, well, the front yard would be nice.
But it's just you just don't realize that these shows, the sky's the limit sometimes. A couple of $1 million helicopter is nothing for them to do that. But you don't think that people like that will be going there.
But you know what's even more interesting? If you, obviously most of us could never afford a helicopter, but you can actually rent one not that expensively.
Well, the thing they reckon the industry there is starting to fail there, because now with all these drones and that, most people can get the great, like you can buy a $50,000 drone that carries these massively heavy cameras.
Yeah.
So, well, it might have cost them $50,000 to hire the helicopter for a week.
The other thing you have to be careful with the drones, on the remote controls, there's a little red button, and people keep thinking that's record. It actually means drop. Because they're usually used for bombs. So, there goes your camera. Whoops. Death by camera. Okay, sorry.
That's right. But it's the thing, but they were saying as well with NAB this year, they said there's still a lot, we keep finding all these different items and that, and they said, but somebody said there's all these great items, but there really was no innovation.
No, you know why? Because, these shows are every single year. And, the innovation cycle, you can't force it.
No.
And so a lot of things are rehashed. They change a couple of things. If you look at cars, they have the same model of a car, maybe 3 or 4 years with minor enhancements. And then maybe 4 or 5 years into it, now it's a brand new looking car. But you can't change it every single year. They'd go broke trying to do that.
And that's why it's quite interesting for people like myself for NABs, because I don't mind that so much, because if they did have a C100 there last year, but they've got the same C100, but they've got the autofocus now. It's improved and it's coming down in price.
Right.
So they've got all these different, more cameras, but it's still a camera, but they haven't anything new technology there. They're putting 4K, but that was last year's thing, but nearly everybody's going 4K these days. And then I keep hearing people going about stereo sound. Yeah.
I know. You know what's funny? Speaking of stereo sound, I thought all those Sound Blaster cards and everything were no longer used. They are. Now they're $300-$400 cards. They are full stereo systems inside of your PC. So they've gone high end rather than low end. It's sort of interesting. It really has changed. Now we had another product here. I can't quite make it out. It looks like Tiny Desktop.
Well, that was just lead to that point as well, because I said maybe we even might have a look at one in a bit more in depth the next shows. But you showed us once ages ago a little red box PC.
Oh yeah.
You remember that?
Yep.
And so
the bricks. That was the bricks.
The bricks, that's what I just could not remember the name, and I thought, well, I'll have to go back to have a look at that. But it's amazing, like you were saying with that Sound Blaster card, said that's why we don't know about them, because most people these days, well, they're not bothered about them. They get a PC, when they get the new version of Windows and the new chipset comes out, they throw that one out and get a new one.
Right.
And so that's what these little compact units are all about, because these little things, you can get a little bracket and just attach it to the back of your monitor.
That's
so
cool.
And it's got all the things you will need to input it in.
Now, who makes this one?
I don't know. Is it not the Lenovo one? There's a couple of different
Lenovo?
ones. Yeah, because Lenovo do one. There's a. I think that might be the Stealth.
Is this one Lenovo?
Stealth.com. So. model LPC 100 is the ultra small mini PC from the Stealth.com.
Interesting. Stealth.com.
There's a Lenovo M93P tiny desktop. That must be that one. I think it was. That
so this one here.
Yeah, but I think it might be worth just might have a deeper look at that for another show and just talk about the smaller desktops. But I don't know about you, but well, you do for your work, but for me, for a PC, I wouldn't from the time I buy it until I get the next one, I wouldn't add anything to it. Not that you can for these laptops and that.
Right,
but,
and these are very small. There's not much room for anything.
No, but the cost that you get if you want to improve them, and like you said, seeing there, it's roughly round about the $1,200 mark you're looking at with I think that's with about, you can get up to a 1 terabyte SSD hard disk, I think, into them. So, and that's where it's going. People don't like to have boxes anymore around the place, and these ones, and we're going for work on that. They're getting rid of the old Dell desktop box units and putting in some of these Lenovo.
Well, there's a new Dell too. There's a Dell. What's it called? It's a small one too. It's very small, and it's about $1,200. They're not cheap though. They're small, but they're not cheap. My only concern with them is heat. How good do they really get rid of heat? And from what I heard, like the Bricks, the Bricks Pro, they said it really runs great. But a lot of people said when it gets hot, it starts going. That's a little loud. It makes that kind of noise. The fan is so loud trying to get rid of the heat. So that's not a good thing. I mean, would you like to be sitting watching TV and you? That's not good.
And we both know from our experience with our earlier iMacs, they do the same thing. Those are the earlier ones. They get extremely hot.
Yes.
You cook
Didn't you take it camping just to make some eggs, or?
Because it used the current range. I don't know what they did, but there's no noise, no heat.
Well, but they got rid of the optical drive.
Oh, okay.
That was one thing. They got rid of the SSD/hard drive. You only have one now. That's a combination. So they've gotten rid of features to make it less hot. So I find that a little interesting. And the monitor obviously is an LED monitor now versus LCD, and as a result, it's less hot.
But like I've got the MacBook Pro, the last 17-inch on there.
Yeah.
And just speaking of that sounds like it's about to take off now, because when you have the video card, it gets extremely hot. And I've had that on my lap at times, and I've had to quickly take it off because it does get extremely hot at times when you're pushing it. But it is only when you are overdriving.
They sell those laptop pillows that are meant to absorb. I guess they're fire resistant and they absorb the heat so that you don't burn yourself. But people actually have had to go to emergency with burns from this.
Well, I know I've got something like that to put the laptop on. I can still feel the heat through it, and it's still quite not burned, but it's uncomfortable. And you have to move it and take it off there anyway. But it's, but I think I might have to have a bit more investigation in these, and I think when Windows 10 eventually comes out,
July,
I'm going to invest if I can get, because I know they're already offering buy this and you'll get your free Windows 10 upgrade. So,
really?
Everybody, that's sort of a good advertisement, isn't it? Because Microsoft has said anybody can get it anyway. So what big deal is that giving you a free offer to that? Everybody will get it.
Don't tell anyone.
So all you have to have is a computer with Windows on it, then you'll get it. So what they're saying is we'll give you a free upgrade, so we're not giving you anything in there until.
Well, it's sort of like, they say, okay, the price of the camera was originally $2,000. Then we're going to up it to $2,200, and then we'll give you a discount all the way to $1,950. So you're saving $250.
Yeah, I'm. I always just go into the feeling that they're going to screw you out of money no matter what.
No matter what you do. Yeah.
So if you be prepared to pay a certain price, if you're happy with $1,000,
just buy it.
Just be happy. Don't buy it because it's $1,000 saving. Well, it was never $1,000.
What I like are the people who go driving and searching all over the place for a cheaper price, and by the time they're done, they spend enough gas, time, money, and whatever else that little $50 extra you just spent on all the hours and hours you tried to get to something, and it's not worth it. Just order it, enjoy it. Don't worry about the $50. You'll make it up somewhere else.
we have that here with sometimes some of the gas stations will put an offer on, and you'll see people queuing for 25 miles to
I
get
know.
it, and they'll be in the queue for an hour, and it was 15, 20 cents a gallon cheaper, or even if it was $1 a gallon.
But their time is worthless.
And as I said, they just don't realize, and no matter how much people complain, they do about petrol and that, water's still more expensive in bottles than petrol is,
right.
than gas is. But they go out and buy that by the ton and don't worry about
Well,
it.
Australia did something funny yesterday. They threw back the 2 dogs of, what's his name?
Oh, yes, Johnny
Depp.
Well, that was quite strange because he came in on his own private jet.
Yes.
And then there was no sign of them, and then all of a sudden they were there. So
he tried to smuggle them in.
By the sounds of it, but at least people are kicking up. But they said if they're going to stay, they're going to put them down. But at least he had the option of sending them back.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think if I was the
is it a hoof and mouth problem? Do they worry about disease or
rabies?
Rabies.
We're rabies free here. There's like if you bring a dog from Europe, you can't have them for 6 months.
I know. Same as in Hawaii. We can't even go from here to Hawaii. You have to wait. I think it's 3 months.
They changed it.
They changed it? Oh, it's changed in Hawaii now. Clark just said it's 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Oh, interesting. Because it's been 3 months for eons.
It used to be here 9 months, but I think the technology and medicine's progressed that they
Right.
can detect it. But they said because Europe's got rabies, and so Australia doesn't have it.
Yeah, but that's just the English hooligans. That's nobody else who has rabies. I mean,
No, but I think what I would have done if I was the authorities here, I would have just seized them and just put them into quarantine and said, well, you can have them because it's obviously going to be here a while.
and I mean,
said,
come
well,
on. Why didn't we just put Johnny Depp into quarantine? He looks worse than the dogs. I mean, I don't know. I just don't get it.
But there's big controversy in saying, well, it's going to cost if he goes and doesn't do the film. I said, really? You think he's not going to complete a film that they'll pay him about $100 million
Right.
for?
Huh.
No, he's
Wow.
not going to go home for the dogs for that. I said, if he does, well, I don't think he's the sort of person who could afford to lose $100 million.
No, that's true.
Well, you wouldn't be crazy to. You wouldn't give that up. But then if you'd done it properly, but then again, it might have been our authorities. Why didn't they pick it up? Are they just letting anybody who comes in a private jet just get off and do what they want? They obviously didn't check the plane.
No.
I mean, they always check everything else. So, well, how can you not see 2 dogs? I mean, I don't know if you saw in the news. It's getting way away from tech, though.
Yes.
But there was somebody showing.
This is now Tales Down Under.
Well, one of I don't know where it was, but they were showing one of these people doing the bag checks. They had a little 9-year-old boy smuggled into a suitcase, and they put it through and they said, "Hey, what's this?" And they had a 9-year-old boy.
But they put him into
in
quarantine
suit.
for 6 months. That was okay.
But well, that's right. So I don't know. What was it here? We don't allow people.
Well, every so often, people show up in L.A. They actually smuggled into a wing or into a cargo compartment, and they actually survive and make it here, or in the well of the airplane tires, and you just go,
I don't know.
interesting.
Oh, I mean, if you survive that, you would think that would be the most. Your mind would be screwed, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I would be thinking.
Well, I mean, your mind's
holding
pretty
on to the
screwed
wheel.
anyway doing that in the first place, so I guess it doesn't really matter. It
But can
just
you imagine hanging off the wheel when it's coming down for landing or something?
yeah, and then they come
Like
into the
a
U.S. and
James
they're
Bond.
an immediate protected group. Stupid. No, stupid's not protected. No, we don't protect stupid yet.
Oh, but it is quite strange. There's a post on the internet. There is shots just before death, and all these selfies of people taken high, and seconds later they fall off the hanging off a building. Seconds later they're
jeez.
dead, and all these things. I thought, some people are, what they have. It's called the Darwin Awards, isn't it?
The Darwin Awards, yeah. I haven't seen those in ages. They were fun. That was when the internet first started. There was always these people who selflessly removed themselves from the gene pool of humanity, and those were our Darwinists. Yes, there was one guy in somewhere out in the Mojave Desert near Las Vegas, and he basically got into this car, rocket-propelled car, went up really fast and hit the mountain about 400 miles an hour. That's the end. They said the only thing left was his teeth. Darwin Award.
Well, they had a fella when I know years ago was when I used to visit England a bit more. They had a fella who'd fixed up a Rolls Royce and put a jet engine on the back of it. He had more money than sense.
Yeah, yeah.
And where did he took it to Germany because he knew on the autobahn you can go as fast as you want to.
Oh, gosh.
So he went from France but the police were trying to catch him. So they did quite a smart thing. They just sat back at Dover and waited for him to come back because I thought it was too dangerous to intercept him. Let him go, and they got him when he got. But
He actually made it all the way?
yeah, because they said when you go to Germany, they said there's no limits on the freeway. So he had a jet-powered Rolls Royce going off. I thought, gee, that would be fantastic to see, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Wow.
Many years ago. So.
You know, when I was younger, I remember I was on the 5 freeway, which takes you from pretty much near San Francisco all the way back to Los Angeles, and that was probably about 4 or 5 in the afternoon, and we're driving in a little Mazda RX-7. It was a sports car, mid-engine sports car, or actually rotary engine sports car. And in the rear view mirror, my friend goes, "Hey, there's something red coming up in the distance." I go, "What is it?" He goes, "I don't know. It's not a cop, but I see lights too." And all of a sudden, it's getting really close, and whoa! It was a Ferrari going about 140, 50 miles an hour, followed by 3 CHP, California Highway Patrol cars, all with their lights on, maybe about 100 feet away, trying to keep up with this guy, maybe more like 100 yards away. And it was just funny. And then we just watched it and went, wow, that was sort of interesting. And within about 40, 50 miles, that was it. He was stopped because he ran out of gas. Ferraris get only like 100 miles per tank. They don't go too far. They get 5 miles a gallon.
That's the thing is, like you see in Europe a lot, you see the police, they drive the Porsches.
Yeah.
Because to catch these guys, you're not going to be able to, and like they're all driving these high-end cars, you're not going to catch them with a normal police car. They're pretty sluggish. So.
Well, here what they do is our normal police cars are actually pretty fast because a lot of them are hopped up.
There was
they're special.
One I saw, there was a challenge of this German woman. Have you seen the Ford Transit vans?
I think so.
Yes, well, there was this racetrack in Germany, and she said, "I bet you I can beat any Porsche going around the track with this track," and she did.
She did.
And the bloke inside it doing the interview, he was shattered at the end of it because he was frightened because she cutted she just flew past this Porsche. He said it's got nothing to do with the car, it's how you drive it, and she was just. It was really impressive to see something that's so top heavy, that's so awkward to drive,
and she could do it.
She just did it, but they have this place in Germany. They have a track where anybody can go, and virtually kill yourself, I suppose.
Yeah,
so you can race round, but that's good if you've got it gives you a reason when you get a high performance car, somewhere to get it out rather than putting anybody else's lives in danger on a normal road. So
yeah, that's fine.
Anyway, that was way out from tech anyway. So
yeah, that was well, we were talking about dogs. That was Tails down over, but now we moved on to something at Wags down over. Yes,
it's all Johnny Depp's fault. That was all because of the dogs.
Typical Hollywood idiot who thinks he can do whatever he wants. So well, I'd quarantine him for 6 months. That'd be easier. It's not a big loss. Well, anyway, we are at the end of our time.
Yes.
Lots of new toys and stuff, and you did have a quick blurb about the LG Watch Urbane.
I did the other week, yes, and I was looking at that and thought, oh, gee, that was good. But then I did watch This Week in Tech with Leo Laporte, and he got one.
Did he like it?
No. But he said it's a great watch, but it's huge.
Well, but that's the whole idea. See, it's just like the Moto 360. It's the same size.
But I think
Leo's a very small person. Maybe he doesn't like that size. See, to me, I'm happy with it. It's the same size as this.
Well, are you sure his looked much bigger than that?
No, the Urbane I think is also 42 or 44 millimeters. That's all.
But I just liked that the way that it looked.
And it's $350. Looks way better than the iWatch, which is just ugh.
It looked more like a watch to me.
It did.
Something more that I wanted.
And then Cogito, I'll cover this one next week, but Cogito came out with a new watch that doesn't have as many smartphone features, but is a fully functional watch with about 6 buttons on it, and each one does something different. and it looks nice. I'll do a review on that one next week. I think that was about $350 too. Apple's the only one who's just way overpriced. And what what they're saying, it doesn't matter what iWatch you're wearing, everybody thinks you have an Apple iWatch, so it doesn't matter. So if you're doing it for status, guys, save money and just buy anything cheaper. Nobody would know.
One of the things it was saying with the Apple Watch was that it's very open for people to steal it.
Oh yeah, there's no security.
There's no. You can just hold the button down. It says, "Do you want to reset it? Reset it."
Sure.
Yep, now let's pair it. It's
that
not like
$17,000 gold watch is in the hands of somebody who's really going to enjoy it right now.
With like the people are saying that the iPhone stealing rate has gone down because there's no use to anybody because you can track them. But they said there's no way. It's got no tracking. It's a brand new phone. By the time you just press a button, reset it. And so I thought, well, that's a bit strange. Where all the other ones is, I think they still have some sort of.
Well, I'm sure. Well, see, we're in California, so I'm sure they'll pass a law soon that when you buy your gold iWatch, you have to turn it in because you're not allowed to have something that's so unfair to others.
Well, yeah, getting that a bit way around the world. If you have something better than you're not. You've got to share it.
You have to share it. Okay, you can hit somebody in the head with it, but
isn't that what communism is?
That's exactly what it is. And yes, here we have a fake term for it. We call it progressivism, but it's communism.
Because everybody, and that's what they have. Everybody has the equal. Everybody has nothing. So
that's right. And if everybody has nothing, then nobody wants anything except for the guys on top.
That's right.
But they have the military. So that's kind of how it works.
So we've covered film, we've covered tech, and we've covered a bit of politics.
A little politics, and it's great. So I think we're good. Yes. We should call this a show before somebody comes. Wait. I think somebody's knocking on our door, and it's California. Right. No.
Don't mention the NSA. So.
No, NSA. No, they don't care. They don't care. They're watching the show laughing right now. So anyway, well, Jeff, as always, a pleasure. And next week we will have more fun tech. I mean, I'm sure there'll be another DJI Ronin 28 by next week. I mean, there's so many coming out.
I'm still catching up on all the videos of NAB. There's still plenty of stuff.
There is, yeah.
Plenty to.
Hey, if you want to watch a good podcast, take a look at Pocket Now.
Pocket Now.
One of my favorites, Pocket Now. That's a great podcast all about smartphones, smart tech, smartwatches. They're good. Pocket Now. Yeah. And one of the guys is Jaime Rivera. He's always, he goes, one guy wrote him a note saying, why is it Latin guys always say their name perfectly well and then speak English okay? It's just one of those. And he goes, I don't know. Why do we do that? But it's a good show. They do really good reviews of the hardware and software as well as the watches.
Mm-hmm. I'll have to have a look at that.
Yeah, Pocket Now. That's one of my favorites. Pretty good one. Oh, and I sent you a link to a voiceover person. Did you see that, Tracy Goodwin?
I did, yes, I did see.
Very interesting. She was on.
Looking at.
She was on Eastern Shore. Our buddy Tom Sinclair. He did a good interview with her. Well, she actually.
When was that? Is that just recently on Tom?
Last week, I think.
Oh well, I better have a look at that because
it was a good one.
Because I was interested in her as well. One of the good things, not just about talk, but saying, hey, when you're talking to some, we don't know what you know.
Right, that's true.
Introduce us, tell us bit by bit. I'm telling you this because I've done this and I know what I'm doing. So that sort of thing, rather than say, just said, we don't know what you know. You do.
That's right.
You've got to tell us. And it was something really very good. So I've just got through a few of the videos, but she's had lots of little videos there. Yes. So I'm going to go through that. I thought that was an excellent one.
She's fun, and she was a good guest. So take a look at her. And on Tom's show, she did a good job. I think we may get her on and say, all right, Tracy, you need to analyze us now. That could be fun.
That's right. Just say, get off the air.
Yeah, get off the air.
That'd be the easy way anyway. So.
All righty. Well, for all you people watching this on YouTube, there is a thumb. It says up. Press it. Good things will happen. There's also another thumb that says down. Don't touch that one. It's bad for you. Never touch a down thumb. Could really harm your health. And there's also a subscribe button. That means really good things could happen to you, even better than the thumb. So do both of those, and you'll have a good weekend. Trust me. That's just the way it is.
That's right. Okay.
Anyway, have a good one, everyone. We will see you guys next week on Tech Down Over. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye for now.